All right, if you haven't been following the news around Fantom, there's been a number of developments and announcements from the Fantom Foundation. With these recent developments, I wanted to hop on and talk about why there could be a catalyst for success on Fantom in the long term and what exactly that means. Now, I know I have past videos that have been critical of Andre Cronje, the lead dev on Fantom, and I've also been critical about the Fantom Foundation with respect to their lack of marketing and business development efforts. Like, I know the tech is great, but I was pretty unsure of the direction of the Fantom Foundation and what that means for FTM and the ecosystem. But the Fantom Foundation has released new information recently, and my opinions have changed because I think smart people pivot as they get new information. Or I'm just fickle and I don't know shit. Anyways, so in this video, I wanted to talk about a couple topics. The first is Fantom Foundation's 30-year runway and how I think that narrative can affect the price action of FTM. I also wanted to briefly discuss Fantom's year-over-year growth, the Foundation's philosophy on decentralization and how that applies to their roadmap, the Foundation's actual roadmap, and lastly, my expectations and what I hope to see from Fantom and the Foundation moving forward. Now, I want you to keep in mind three perspectives as we dive in. The first is going to be Fantom Foundation's financial position, the status of the Fantom network, and then ideologies and roadmap. And before we jump in, links to everything I'll be covering will be linked in the description below. So let's talk about Fantom's 30-year runway and their financial position. So near the end of November 2022, Andre Cronje releases an article reviewing the timeline of the Fantom Foundation's financials. Now, these aren't verified financial reports, and I'm not going to go over every detail, but at the end of the article, it states, the Fantom Foundation has been acquiring FTM. The foundation is cash flow positive. Fantom has a salary burn rate of $7 million per year and has approximately 30 years left without touching their FTM reserves. The article also states that Fantom is self-sustaining and does not rely on outside funding. So a few key points that I took away from this is that one, these are not verified financial reports and the source is a Medium article. The second is that the Fantom Foundation is acquiring FTM. The foundation can sustain their salary burn rate for 30 years without having to touch their FTM reserves, meaning they're unlikely going to be dumping their token as they are and have historically been net acquirers of it. And then the last point, which is not directly from the article, but just some dots I'm connecting here, is that the Fantom token is still on a monthly uptrend despite market conditions. And, you know, I will admit I was uncertain of the Fantom Foundation's direction in the recent past. And I was honestly waiting for market conditions to take the token price below 15 cents into a monthly downtrend. And while I still think it's possible, it could be unlikely as the foundation may still be seeking to acquire more FTM tokens. You know, I think it's reasonable to speculate with the information provided that a foundation that's cash flow positive seeking to acquire FTM will, one, not dump their own token, and then two, deploy capital to acquire more FTM as market conditions worsen and buying opportunities start presenting themselves. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about is Andre's next article released in mid-December of 2022 called The Decentralized CEO. And if you didn't read it, I'll TLDR it for you. The first point is that decentralized systems should not have a centralized controlling entity or benefactor. The article states that with centralized entities as a figure of authority, it's easier to blame others and claim conspiracies rather than accepting personal responsibility or shortcomings. The article also states that not everything in the crypto industry has to be decentralized, and the goal of decentralization should be to build systems that can exist long after those who built them are gone, and to remove single points of failure. The article concludes saying that the biggest mistake is building for oneself instead of building for the community and empowering them to create their own benefit. So from the article, we get a glimpse into the potential ideologies of the Fantom Foundation. Andre's goal and the Fantom Foundation's goal has always been decentralization. We don't build to sustain us, we build to remove us, became one of the most popular quotes from the article. On December 3rd, 2022, Andre releases a retrospective on the Fantom chain, comparing year-over-year growth of Fantom's lifespan. Here are the key points. Fantom has seen strong growth in various metrics, including daily transactions, average block size, daily gas used, verified contracts, total value locked, price, daily active users, and monthly average active developers. And while growth has decreased compared to previous years, the percentage growth is still in the high double and triple digits. Fantom has achieved this growth with low incentives and has a sustainable growth outlook with low circulating supply, low inflation, and high stake percentage. So the article highlights network growth with relevant data to back it up. And if we consider speculations around the Fantom Foundation's financials, paired with the supporting data around the status of the Fantom network regarding growth from a usage standpoint, there can be a strong bullish case that one, Fantom will survive into the next cycle, and two, Fantom may very well reach their goals. So what are their goals exactly? Well, on Christmas Day, Andre releases a letter that was shared with the Fantom Foundation team with a vague roadmap highlighting their areas of focus over the next 12 months. And if you didn't read it, I'll TLDR it for you. The goal of the Fantom Foundation is to provide a single, secure settlement layer for all decentralized activity. The focus should be on developer verticals, improving tooling, integration, ease of use, and developer UX. The objective for the next 12 months is to create an environment for DApp developers to build sustainable businesses. Priorities include gas monetization, gas subsidies, account abstraction, economic abstraction for gas fees, new middleware or FTM, Fantom Virtual Machine, performance engineering, documentation and training, and improving the developer experience. The article states that the Fantom Foundation is in a healthy financial position and will continue to focus on sustainability and also focus on improving communication and increasing transparency. So for someone like me, as a self-proclaimed power user on Fantom, this letter was good news. And the letter was also well received by the community, and it further validated the ideologies stated in the previous decentralized CEO article, and being a little bit more specific on where they intend to put their focus over the next 12 months. And for me personally, here were a few key takeaways. The first being gas monetization, incentivizing DApp teams to build on Fantom using revenue share based on the gas used. This might sound familiar because it's similar to how YouTube shares ad revenue with creators. So the second key takeaway point for me was gas subsidies. Let's be real, gas on Fantom costs virtually nothing. So confirming a transaction is as good as a click of a button. The everyday user shouldn't have to worry about how much GUI they need to submit a transaction, especially if it costs almost nothing. So ideally, gas subsidies would allow for users to interact without needing a wallet to pay for gas fees itself, resulting in a smoother onboarding experience where users don't need to have or even know about FTM. Among others on the list of their areas of focus, these two especially stood out to me as incentive for both builders and users that could be a catalyst for mass adoption. If you guys are enjoying the content, please give a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. So from my perspective, it looks like the Fantom Foundation has understood the potential of their technology and found a product market fit, not with a particular business or niche, but they understand that the technology behind Fantom can foster the coveted mass adoption everyone in the crypto space has been wanting. All right, so what are my thoughts? So here's a bull case for Fantom. A focus on decentralization and empowering the community with the aim to reduce points of failure within the Fantom ecosystem is a forward, future-proofing approach. The Fantom network has shown strong growth in various metrics, including daily transactions, average block size, daily gas used, verified contracts, total value locked, price, daily active users, and monthly average active developers. The Fantom Foundation has a continued focus on sustainability and growth despite low incentives. When a foundation is offering high incentives for protocols and developers, you're going to get a huge reliance on that foundation where they become the centralized entity. And if we cite back to the decentralized CEO, one of the key points from that article was that decentralized systems should not have a centralized controlling entity or benefactor. So this kind of falls in line with what the foundation wants to do and how they want to build out their ecosystem. So basically, high incentives from a foundation equals more centralization. And from a tokenomic standpoint, Fantom has a low circulating supply, low inflation, and high staked percentage, suggesting a strong outlook for future growth. I also want you to keep in mind that all the information was provided by Cronje, one of the leaders of the Fantom Foundation. So there's not going to be a lot of FUD coming out of those articles, if any at all. So what are some potential bear cases? The first thing that comes to mind is that the Fantom Financial's article could potentially be false and the foundation is not as financially secure as they claim. The next is that despite the Fantom Foundation's ideologies being noble and endearing, in practice might not be as sustainable for building on the network as they had hoped. Some other bear cases could be that the initiatives either take too long or don't roll out at all, or a competing chain does what Fantom does sooner and or better. Bull or bear cases aside, I think the Fantom Foundation is wise in realizing their product market fit, recognizing where they've fallen short, and are taking action to better themselves and the ecosystem. So for example, myself and many others have criticized their marketing efforts, and the foundation has acknowledged this, and as of December 30th, 2022, they've introduced new hires to their marketing team. So I personally love this action and the communication from the Fantom Foundation and the team as of recent. If they continue to execute and release updates and reveal more specifics pertaining to their roadmap over the next 12 months, I genuinely think Fantom is not only set to make it to the next cycle, but also succeed in the long term. So I'm going to leave you with 2 Twitter posts that I think are incredibly useful if you're wanting to understand more about Fantom, its product market fit, and also the ecosystem that's built on the network. So the first is a post by $24. I'm going to put the visuals on screen, but the graphics are titled "The Path to Mainstream Blockchain Adoption," showing a vague timeline of problems that have been solved by Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, and now how Fantom is set to fit into that narrative as well. So the last Twitter thread I'll leave you with is by Hoam, with the ultimate guide to Fantom, giving a high-level overview of Fantom, covering topics like what is Fantom, why is this important, how does Fantom work, where is Fantom going, what's the future of Fantom, who's on the team, and the tokenomics. So I encourage you to check out these resources. Links to everything I discussed in this video will be linked in the description below. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the recent developments and updates from the Fantom Foundation? And what are some bull or bear cases for Fantom in your opinion? So if you enjoyed the video, please give a like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that noti bell. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.